So in this video, I'm going to be talking um, about tsunamis. Well, we have seen on the news earthquake, the powerful earthquake um, on the Richter scale 8.8 that took place in Russia just yesterday morning, and that well, so far Russia is so far away, but does her does that event has anything to do with Latin America or the rest of the world? And I wanna get to that in a minute. So just so we're aware of that any event, any natural event that takes place, even in a faraway place like Russia, an earthquake 8.8, on the Richter scale, how can Latin America can be affected too? Even not just Latin America, but Japan, the whole Southeast Asia, or with the exception of landlocked countries like I would say Cambodia and other, Laos. But think about that just for a minute. What if the 9.6 or 9.5 on the Richter scale that we're expecting from the San Andres fault line, that it's called the big one that's supposed to come at any time? I mean, remember that earthquakes are not possible to forecast. I mean, the experts have been saying for years now that there's no way we can forecast. I mean, they could forecast an earthquake not even 5 minutes in advance. But tsunami, yes, we could. They do, actually, because after the aftershock of a huge earthquake like that is a tsunami. And this earthquake in Russia, it took place in a sparsely populated area where basically very few people live. I mean, small villages, very much separated among each other, and there's no way that we say, well, if this can happen, if an 8.8 earthquake takes place in a place like Manila, Philippines, New York City, in New York State, or Tegucigalpa, Honduras. I mean, it could be San Jose, Costa Rica, Mexico City. Mexico City. What happens? Just what did what? Just 22 years ago, in Mexico City, just like a 7.1 in the Richter scale, and thousands of people, died on that earthquake. But talking about tsunami, the aftershock of that kind of earthquake is a big tsunami, and Hawaii is still on that alert list of of big tsunami. Central America too, all the west coast, going from all the way from Canada, Washington State, California, coming to the Pacific. We're talking about the Pacific west coast, all Central America too. And what's in Central America? There is no way. You see people, walking by next to me. This is Central America, and there's no sense of urgency. Can you see anybody walking fast in a fast, steps, on their way to get anything for for an emergency supply? Groceries. Typically, when there is an emergency or like a hurricane, like a big storm coming to Central America, people, rushing to the supermarkets basically to get emergency supplies for the next few days. But if you see people walking by next to me, or even people sitting, in the nearby vicinity, there's no urgency. There's people talking among each other. There's no sense of urgency in what could be, people, running and doing their daily, minding their own business on their daily activities. And in this facility, in this mall, there are two supermarkets. There's a Walmart, in which they sell also they sell groceries among other things. And there is a huge supermarket. It's called La Cadena Supermarket, in which people just walking by, going their own business. This is Wednesday afternoon. It's almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And after work, people just hanging out, getting going there. A couple of gyms where people go to do their health. I mean their fitness. And basically, it's just a regular shopping day. but nothing. There's no urgency. There's no sense of urgency of from you know people walking by or coming in and out to get emergency supplies or groceries, as I said before. This is what happens when um, things an event like that, a natural disaster an earthquake 8.5, 8.8, which is huge. That's a big that took place far away from here, thousands of miles away. And people say, well, this is, just like in Bangkok. Remember, just 3 months and a half ago, in Bangkok, Thailand, a huge earthquake. There was, I can't recall exactly. It was like as above 7.0 above. I'm not sure it was 7.5, 7.6. I can't remember it more, but it's so huge. And a few hundred people, pass away. The buildings, were some buildings were destroyed, some buildings were just damaged, and many expats living in Thailand, left the country. But many people, are still there. People came back, of course. And Thailand, a country like Thailand, very much, good infrastructure, and they very much came out of the situation in a better way. They have, good emergency rescue teams, and they basically came in a good situation. But Central America, 52 million people is the population of these 7 Central American countries. And the Pacific coast of Central America are very widely populated, especially Costa Rica. Most of the tourism coming to Central America come to Costa Rica, the Pacific. I mean, you can name Liberia, the province of Liberia, Perez Celedon. I mean, those 3 or 4 provinces of Pacific Costa Rica. Most of the tourism coming from Canada and United States come to Central America. Many expats. I would say half of the expat population in Costa Rica. I would say there are over 100,000, close to 110,000 expats that come just from the United States. And if you come Canada and other countries, European countries, almost close to 500,000 people. But and there is no sense of urgency. The only alert for Central America is, so far, it's tsunami wave. It's not like a tsunami, huge tsunami emergency alert. There is no red alert. There's only like a yellow alert and tsunami wave type that's going to come to the Pacific of Central America. But look, tsunami travels. Tsunami waves travel at a rate of 500 miles per hour. At that pace, if a huge tsunami is coming from the Pacific, from the Pacific coast of Hawaii, let's say it reaches Hawaii, and just keep moving toward Central America and California and West Coast area, it will take just a few hours to reach mainland. And Central America is not really prepared for a huge tsunami, like a 10-meter, 12-meter wave tsunami that can sweep the Pacific coast of Central America. Let's say that it hits the Gulf of Fonseca that shares El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In the Gulf of Fonseca lives around 5 million people. Are they prepared really? I was just there in Puerto La Union in El Salvador, which is just 2 meters. I mean, one of my videos I did like next very much at the sea level. So Puerto La Union is just 2 meters, not 20 meters, 2 meters above sea level in the Gulf of Fonseca. That's Pacific, guys. So if there's a tsunami coming at a 500 miles per hour, speed, that's 5 times faster. I would say 4 times faster than a Maserati, driving in a I-95, the famous, the well-known highway I-95 going from Florida to New York. At that speed, 500 miles per hour, it might take, if that's, arrives 3:40 in the morning anywhere in the Pacific, in the Gulf of Fonseca that shares these 3 countries, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Honduras, that could be, huge huge event and huge situation in which thousands of people may die. I mean, may be swept, you know, from where they live. Just 2 meters, some people just 3 meters above sea level. It's very wide, densely populated coast, the Pacific coast of Central America. I just mentioned these 3 countries. I did mention Puerto La Union in El Salvador. I just mentioned also the province of El Valle, the Valle province, Choluteca. Most of the Choluteca province in Honduras, I mean, there are like dozens of fishing villages those people live almost at sea level in the Gulf of Fonseca. What's going to happen to all these thousands of people, who live in those vicinities? This is this video is to alert people to just be mindful if there is a tsunami alert for just tsunami wave, not red alert for tsunami for the Pacific of Central America. Just be mindful that it can hit anytime. I mean, it can hit anytime Central America. A wave, just couple of meters high wave can become a 12-meter wave tsunami that can sweep all this, not just the 3 countries that I mentioned, Panama, Costa Rica, could be next, even Guatemala, Belize has an Atlantic coast, I'm sorry, but all these countries that I'm mentioning, they have fishing villages all the Pacific, all through that Pacific west coast. So one more time, there is a tsunami alert for Central America, and this just for tsunami wave, but not a huge red tsunami alert yet. But be mindful that until this is gone, I mean the tsunami, alert is gone. I think these popular. I'm not trying to be dramatic on this issue, but if you can be in a place where you are in a safe location and have some supplies, emergency supplies, and watching this video, share with neighbors that even the aftershock of an earthquake like the one that took place in Russia yesterday, the aftershock could be continuously for even months. The expert says, this is not my take, but the expert says that it could be more aftershocks, earthquake in maybe lower scale basically, but that could trigger other tsunamis too. So it's not, the emergency, the alert of tsunami is not just over just because the event is over, the main event of 8.8 in the Ritcher scale is over. So if you live nearby the Pacific coast, be mindful, could be close, to the news, to what they are, what it's been said. And if you need to move, and just, the loss of lives is very, we don't want to lose life just because there was no alert, enough alert for this natural event that can be, dramatic, that can be deathful, that can be, serious for many families. So take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and so long.